Hello everyone. In this video, we will look at the links between purchasing, innovation, and quality management. In particular, we will see which is the potential role of purchasing and of suppliers in moving innovation forward, as well as in improving quality. Let's start from the first point. Innovation and the role of purchasing and the role of suppliers. Many companies have moved their approach towards innovation from what is called closed innovation towards open innovation. With a closed innovation approach, I try to develop everything in-house. I try to protect all my knowledge, all my patents, and build up a barrier between my R&D department and the outside, so that no one can get any hints from what I'm doing. At the same time, it may become a castle that also isolates myself from what happens outside. With the open innovation approach, of course, I still care about protecting my intellectual properties, but at the same time, I'm very much open with respect to innovation that's coming from somewhere else, which means suppliers, customer, other partners. Within this approach, it's clear that I want to mobilize my suppliers and get their ideas. If we take into account the fact that the innovation start as an idea, as a general idea, move towards being a concept, then that is designed and prototyped, and then it is pre-produced and then produced on the large scale, we see that in the old approach, purchasing and through purchasing the suppliers were involved quite late in this process. Now, more and more, purchasing as well as the suppliers are engaged, are involved early in the process. This means they can enter into this process in the product development, new product development process early, when the degrees of freedom are much higher. And therefore, they can contribute with idea, innovation, different materials, different configuration. And this is much easier done at the very beginning than towards the end of the process, where already many elements have been defined, probably also some production process have already been fixed, and it's very difficult and costly to modify them. So there are, in order to foster innovation with the support of the purchasing and the suppliers, there are a few actions that many companies are doing. One is early supplier involvement, as I said. So let's have the suppliers early. Not every supplier, because I'm sharing sensitive information about my new product design, but those that are design partners, or in any case, good partner of my company. But also, let's increase the cooperation between the engineering department and the purchasing department. What is called in some companies as purchasing engineering. So creating a group, a task force, a mix between engineers and buyers, so that they know what is needed for developing the new product, as well as they know what the market is offering. But this can be extended also to what is called residential engineering. So hosting in my company also engineers that are not my engineers, but are engineers from my partners. There are several evidences that this approach can bring significant savings, both cost savings and contribution to increasing the competitiveness of my product. The role of purchasing can be also, is normally also very relevant with respect to quality. In fact, if we consider quality as fitness for use, quality as respect of specification, we see that a lot of what we give to our customer has been manufactured or assembled by a supplier. Therefore, you remember we mentioned that the value of the suppliers, it's normally very high. This means also that their role in the final quality is very high. Therefore, if we consider different aspects of quality cost, we see that there are prevention activities and therefore prevention costs related to preventing there or to be made. There are assessment activities and assessment costs. So those activities and costs related to timely identify eventual failures. And of course there are activities and costs related to correction that may be done internally, where the product is still in our hands or in our distribution channels, or external, when the product is already in the hand of the customer. You may easily see that moving from prevention down to internal error and even more external error, any quality cost is likely to increase. Let's make a comparison between internal and external. It's clear that if I find a defect when it's still in my factory, I can fix it immediately. If it's a customer finding it, I will have a guarantee cost, I have a cost for returning the products, I have a cost in terms of loss of image, I maybe even lose my customer because of he or she is unsatisfied with respect to the product. So it's clear that it's better to identify them early on, especially working on prevention. And this applies even more with respect to the suppliers, which are upstream. In fact, whenever I find something upstream, it's cheaper than finding it downstream, because downstream I've already added additional activities, and sometimes for repairing it or for it's more costly, and sometimes I need to throw away complete components, even complete products. Let's make a very simple example. If there is a defective lot from a supplier to my factory, I may find it before the lot is shipped to my factory or after the lot is shipped. So when I do receive the shipment from my supplier, I check it and I do find it defective. In this second case, I will have logistic costs to move the defective lots from the suppliers to myself, to my factory, the quality in the factory, and then the shipments back towards the factory. So a lot of additional costs with respect to original quality failure. So it's better to find it earlier at the supplier stage. Therefore, more and more companies are using quality assurance procedures also with respect to suppliers. So suppliers quality assurance. Even starting with respect to new products. So I'll go through the specification. Based on the specification, I select the best suppliers, what I consider the best supplier. I go and check them and see the way they are working. Not only their products, but also the way they are working. Then I test the production, some initial samples, some complete lots, and then I agree with them how to proceed. We do have a quality agreements and a sort of certification of the first series and then of the ongoing production, with the idea that it's better that they control. And in doing this kind of quality assurance, there are audits that can be related to the product, so focusing on the product, but more and more they involve also the process, because the process has got a significant impact on the quality of the products, as well as the system audit, so the overall way in which the supply is working. So purchasing and the suppliers can contribute a lot, both towards innovation and towards quality.